Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome to the Ranting Raving Pod. It's your host, your girl, Pink Lee. And today I have with me...
What's up? It's Killer Well.
Killer Well, can you tell them a little bit about who you are and what you do?
My name is Nate McIntyre. You can find me on the internet as Killer Well and also on Netflix as Nate McIntyre, owner of the Bodyrock Bootcamp gym in West Philadelphia, PA. We were featured on that show where they came in, made over my whole gym, made over my wardrobe, and showed a little bit of my music. And I don't know, what else do I need to say about myself? I've been doing fitness for ages, been making music for ages, and just like trying to be around good people. That's why I'm here tonight.
That's awesome. So you guys heard, you guys have a lot to check out. He's been featured on Queer Eye on Netflix, and he's got awesome music and awesome band. And he has a gym, so you guys can go check out that boot camp, trying to get in shape, trying to get fit. So he's got a lot to offer, so you guys make sure you tap in. Before we get started, we're going to give a special shout out to our drink sponsor, Pink Drinks. Here in my hand, I have the tequila strawberry red. And we have the toxic tea. As you guys know, they're $10 a bottle, and they are always available 24/7 for pickup or delivery. Or you can always catch them at Open Vibe Philly, wherever we may be. So make sure you guys are tapped in and following us to see what we got going on. Follow at Pink Drinks, which is PINKKDRINKKS, and you can click that link in the bio that has an order form. But you guys just love to DM the order, so just DM them. So first things first, as you know, we're on episode 91 of Words of Wisdom right now. Please go check out that current episode, which is... Ooh, it's losing me, but I'll remember in a second. Now, you guys check out episode 91 on my YouTube. But we're going back in time as we always do. So we are currently going backwards. We're on episode 11. So episode 11 was Stop Glamorizing Toxic Traits. So I feel like this is a lot on social media, but it's kind of in real life too. We have this bad habit of glamorizing toxic traits. I use the example all the time of like a girl who might say, yeah, he don't know. I don't play about him. I'm crazy. I'll go bust his windows out right now. I'll go key his car right now. And it's almost like you're bragging about all these these acts that will literally get you put in jail, or beat up or worse. But you're bragging about them as if they're like this cool thing or this good thing or what you should be doing, when in all actuality, you're literally just glamorizing a toxic trait. So a lot of people think people being crazy, quote unquote, or being super tough or whatever the case may be, all these super toxic traits, we glamorize them. They become a thing. And once they're a thing, now everyone wants to do it because now it's a trendy thing to do. So we have to remember that we have people that are younger than us, such as children that we may or may not be raising, but they might be looking up to us and thinking this is what they should be doing. So then we're, it comes almost like a generational curse because you're handing it down to the next generation. So what do you feel about glamorizing toxic traits? Do you think it's a thing? Do you think it's not a thing? Do you agree?
I think that just to start it off, I think that people need to stop glamorizing toxic people. That is like the first step to curing the problem.
Yeah.
You get people that know that they're just watching a train wreck, and they not only just sit back, watch, they'll pull out their cameras and they'll root for the accident that everybody can see from like a mile away. So I think that's the first thing for me. But then as far as like specific traits, I'm gonna just keep it, 100 as a man, like toxic masculinity. Now, that can mean a million different things to a million different people, but like for me, I feel that like there is a way to present yourself as a man that doesn't need to go so overboard that you stop being human, that you don't have any kind of empathy for people. And you find that people who lean into it to a certain degree, they lose, like, there's masculine and there's feminine, and every person is a combination of the two. Mm-hmm. Like you might lean one way more or another way more, but everybody has that. You can't go and get rid of any feminine traits in a man or feminine or masculine traits in a woman, because that's part of just like personalities. Like
the balance.
It's a balance. Like if you can't, cook and clean as a man, what are you gonna do on your own? You got to be able to hold two things at the same time. So that would be the thing that sticks out to me the most. I pride myself on being connected with being a man, but also being connected. I was raised by my mom, and I had two sisters, and I learned a lot from the experience that I have. I think that's the reason why I can connect with women in ways that like a lot of men I don't think can. But at the same time, like I am totally a dude. I like to punch and kick and do all the stuff that quote unquote men are supposed to do. But at the same time, like, yeah, man, I'm a sensitive dude. I can have a sit down conversation about emotional stuff or about it's all good.
But I love that point that you brought up, because I don't think we've even touched on that, but that's such a big thing, a big conversation right now, toxic masculinity. And I'm glad that you broke that down and were able to kind of just show people that you should have a balance. Not that you only can, but you should. It's okay to be able to, connect with women in a way that you're, in touch with your emotions, like emotionally intelligent rather. It's good to know that, because I think that's mainly I'm a woman, so it's a different perspective. I feel like a lot of people who have like the toxic masculinity, I feel like they're not emotionally intelligent, and that's why they have that going on, like with them. They're not really in touch with their emotions, and then they're not understanding what their emotions are, how to, regulate them, why they feel that way, that sort of thing. So I feel like that's an important point that you brought up. So I love that. So we're going to get into some hot topics. I'm going to let you go first. You don't have to choose the card on top. You can choose any card in the deck.
My deck right here?
Yep.
I'm going to go from the top. Let's see. Thoughts on long distance relationships. How did you get up inside of my business? How do you, this is a plant.
What?
This is a plant.
I got one.
Pass. Thoughts on long distance relationships. I think that any relationship, well, I'm just going to rewind to what I saw growing up inside of my family. Like my mom and my dad, they fought nonstop all day, but they were literally each other's best friends. So that's what I look for in, whoever partner I'm going to be with, whether they're in my city, my state, or, my country. My thoughts on how to make it work. I've had several long distance relationships. I'm actually in a current, just feeling things out phase with someone who's not in the same city as me. I'm looking for my best friend, to be honest. So time and space, all that stuff is really not that important. Like the connection that you have with a person, that's a connection that you have. You figure out what your relationship looks like, whether it's in your city or outside of your city. You go and make that, you figure out what the rules of engagement are. Of course, you don't want to be lonely. You want to be with somebody that, makes you happy. But I think first and foremost, you find that person that is your person. You can figure it out. You can definitely figure it out. Now, there's a bunch of different ways that relationships look like these days. Just 2024, people be monogamous, non-monogamous, and a million other ways of doing it. But you find your person, you figure out a way to make it work.
I love that. That was so cute. Yeah. I love that, especially because I'm a person who never really thought it could work, right? Mm-hmm. But I guess when the way you're putting it is different. Like you're finding your person, the one who you can call your best friend. And so it works that way based off, I guess, the bond of the relationship, maybe. So that's decent. Well, I don't know what to say now. I don't know what to say now. I'm just kidding. You
can give examples of your own, relationship.
Yeah, I don't really do long distance. I just have never really believed in it, I guess. Just because I'm a super, when I'm with someone and we really rock and I really I love you, I care about you, you're my person. I want to be around you all the time. I want to be around you all the time. I want to be able to I have to be around you all the time. As much time as we can spend together, that's how it got to be for me. So I don't know. Wow. I think, I'm that person. Like, I do need space to breathe, but like, I want to be able to be like I couldn't just like be in a relationship where I'm like, I made this for dinner and then you can't eat it with me. Like, it's almost like I'm not going to make anything for dinner because you're not here to eat it with me. Like, I don't know, maybe it's the nurturing part of me. Like, I want to be able to take care of you. I want to cater to you. And if you're like miles away, I can't rub your feet on a FaceTime call. Like, I don't know. But that's just me. But I feel like I think it's a case by case thing. I think that it really depends on the person. And I'm also a female, so it's probably a little different for me. A little emotional, a little lovey-dovey.
It all depends on,
just the
people
person.
Individually.
Yeah.
Like, I am very independent. I love my time alone. I do love my time with a person. Like, what do they say?
Distance make the heart grow fonder.
I mean, that's true. There's absolutely truth to that.
Mm-hmm.
What was I was about to ask about? What is it they call it? Relationship styles or whatever? I hate that question where they're like,
love languages. Love languages.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Love languages. Like for me, I don't really ask for much. I just like enjoy spending time with a person. But I also enjoy spending time with myself. So I got two best friends. I got whoever it is I'm dating. Preferably is if I'm not going to spend my time with someone I'm not jiving with, and hopefully they're like potentially a best friend. But like I've only dated people who have been my best friends. So that's always been my comfort zone. And when I'm comfortable, like I'm comfortable. I'm not like worrying about people doing this, that, and the third behind my back. I have trust. And all I need is that time when we can get together and we can actually like kick it and enjoy it and like spend quality time. The only thing about long distance relationships that I have learned though is, and this is from my own personal experience, you can get lazy. And if you get lazy or the other person gets lazy, then that's when you got a problem. Lazy
in terms of what, like communication and
just lazy. Like you don't want to do nothing. You just like, we're just gonna lay up. Things get boring, get monotonous. People start looking up like, I wonder if there's someone more fun out there.
I agree with that 100%. I think that's like, even aside from a long distance relationship, any relationship, like I can't be with a lazy person. I couldn't be with a person who doesn't have any ambition and doesn't want to do anything and doesn't have any goals that they're already on the way to reaching, because that's me all the way. Like, and I've always been that way. So I feel like, having a person who just like, let's just watch movies all day, and it's been like all week y'all been doing this. It's just like, you're not tired of laying up? Like, you're not tired of not doing anything? You're not tired of being tired? Like, laying in the bed? Like, every once in a while, it's cool to have a day where, you have some downtime, but not like, that's too much. I understand what you're meaning by that.
I have a question for you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What do you do if you are with someone who had a whole lot of energy when you met them, fell in love with them, they're your best friend, but now they're lazy?
That's a good question. I would say you should have a conversation with that person. I would, because I feel like over time you're gonna grow resentment for that person. You're gonna grow resentment for that person because you're gonna wonder what happened to what happened to the ambition of when I first met you. You're not as, what I mean? What happened to that? So I would say like a conversation needs to be had to see where that person's head is, because it could be like things where they're still that same person, but they could be still that same person, but they're just kind of, maybe they're going through something. It could be like a bout of depression, or like maybe someone died, or maybe something that's been a constant in their life isn't so much of a constant, that and it takes a toll on a person's well-being and mental health. So I would have a conversation to kind of figure out like, what is the reason for it? Or were you just lazy the whole time and I just didn't know? It's kind of like, so I would say definitely a conversation, like an open conversation, like a safe space type of conversation where the person doesn't feel judged or like belittled or berated, stuff like that.
All right, next question. All right, they got some mental health issues, but they're too masculine to
understand.
They're like, nah, I'm too much of a man to go to that.
Yeah, they have to. I don't even know what I would do. I guess I would try to maybe like find find an example of something that could happen if they don't go, right? Like where they could end up. Like if somehow you could show them, like if you don't do A and B, C is going to equal C, and C is going to ruin your life.
Ultimatum, you're like doing an equation.
Yeah, like not an ultimatum, but kind of try to explain to them like where this behavior and these patterns are going to lead them if they continue on.
But I'm a man. I got this. What are you talking about?
Yeah, see that, but that's the thing. Like you're gonna have it to the point where you have it all and then don't have anything. You know what I mean? And then you're not gonna have anyone because you've already pushed away so many people thinking that I got it. I don't need no help. I could do this by myself. And now you've pushed away all the people that you maybe do need, would need to lean on, because everybody needs somebody. Everybody needs somebody. So. And
there you go. That's the story of all my breakups.
Yeah, it happens. It happens like that. It happens like that. But yeah, everybody needs someone, and you should feel comfortable enough with your significant other to, just try to be like, listen, hey, I'm not feeling myself lately. This is why, or I'm not feeling myself lately, and I don't know why. Like I'm crying every day, and I don't know why, or I'm like not enjoying the things I used to enjoy, and I don't know why. These are all. If you have a safe space. Person, I'll call it a safe space person, a person who, when you're with that person, you always feel like you're in a safe space, then you should feel open enough to kind of discuss those things with them, and maybe not so much let your pride get in the way. But I do feel like it is hard to, even when it's a pride, like other things it might be easier, but when it's pride, it's one of those harder things to break. Like pride is definitely one of those things where it's like, I want to talk to you about it, but pride in the way. Like I want to ask for help, but I'm too strong. I don't need no help. You know what I mean? Like
we were just talking about was it masculine versus feminine trait? Pride is definitely a masculine trait that doesn't matter whether or not you're a woman or a man. You can have, issues with the amount of pride that you have, which, can definitely put a monkey wrench in any kind of relationship.
That's so true. Yeah, people don't. I don't think that people understand that everyone, man or woman, has masculine and feminine energy, and it's always on a balance. And so I think I don't know if this is 100% true on what I'm about to say. I know that's 100% true. I think it depends on what do you embrace, right? If you're embracing your softer or your more feminine, I'll say feminine traits, then maybe you're going to end up being more feminine. But if you're tapping in more into your masculine traits, you're going to be more masculine. That's kind of how I feel about that a little bit. Yeah. Because I feel like most times we all have whatever we have in us, but it depends on, or like maybe how we were raised has something to do with it. Mm-hmm. Like I was always taught, you don't ask people for things, like you work for it, you get it yourself. You know what I mean? But I feel like, and I think that over my life, that's kind of made me a little more prideful. Mm-hmm. But I feel like someone who was raised in a household where it was kind of like, oh no, you can beg, or not maybe, not like maybe saying you can beg, but maybe they see their parents like kind of asking for things and borrowing things all the time, to where it comes like they kind of like they set the tone for it to be okay. They're probably going to have less pride as an adult because they didn't really have that like sense of like, do you kind of understand what I'm trying to say? I don't know if I'm explaining it well.
Yeah, you're saying like, your upbringing could have, it shapes your current, state of mind, who you are. How you have experience with, like, you've seen how it could work.
Yeah. Because I've seen,
by letting go of your pride.
Exactly. Yeah, I've seen it. And I don't know. I also know I had like people who I used to be like maybe like friends, I'll say associates or friendly with, like I've seen them like straight up take advantage of me and other people by like constantly asking for things, and almost to the point where it's like, yeah, you are begging, right? And it's like, I could never be like that. But then it'll be a time where I may actually need help. It may not even be a financial thing, but I might actually need help, and I won't reach out to ask for it because I just always been like, no, I'm gonna just handle it myself. I'm gonna get it myself because that's how I was raised. So, yeah, I think it's definitely from a point of like perspective, from what I've seen from people. So I think that's true. But we are going to take a quick break. When we come back from break, we're going to get into some more juicy topics. We're going to sip some more pink drink. And, we just going to have a good time, y'all, because this is the Ranting Raving Pod. So make sure you guys stay locked in, because once you're locked in, ain't no switching up. We'll be right back. All right, we are back. Welcome to the Ranting Raving Podcast. We've been ranting and raving on a couple subjects, but we are about to get into another juicy topic. So let me grab this card. Okay. If you could erase one thing from existence, what would it be and why? There's so many things I want to erase. But off the top, I guess I would say, I hope this is... I'll probably say violence. And I know there's so many other things, right? But I say violence because if violence never existed, then we automatically have to find healthy ways to work through emotions and anger. Like, we can't get mad and there be no such thing as going to punch someone in the face or punch a wall or kick something or whatever, because violence isn't a thing. So I would have to say violence. I'm going to say violence. How about for you? If you could remove one thing from existence.
One thing and not a person.
It could be, I guess it could be a person. Yeah, it does. There's no restrictions.
No, I'm not even going there. There is one person though, an actor that I just loathe.
Wait, who is it?
Reason.
Well, you have to call him out now. We got to know.
Reason. If you were to call my my roommate in college, he was like, "Who does Nate hate?" If you ask him that specific question, he'd be like, "That person."
Who is it? No, we gotta know. We gotta know.
I don't even like saying his name. Pass.
Is it Idris Elba?
Why do you say that?
I don't know. I don't know. It just came to my head.
Hate? Does he get hate like that?
No, it just literally just came to my head. Don't ask me why.
Idris, I mean, like, I'm a little jealous of him because that dude, I mean, like...
The ladies love him, right?
First of all, he's a good-looking guy. Then, on top of that, he's dark-skinned. He got that whole, suave thing going on.
He like the Black James Bond.
Then this fool got the accent. He got the accent. You look at him, you like, oh, he does. I don't want to say he looks American, but like, you could make him pass for like an American black guy.
I think so, because he looks, so the reason why I've never found him attractive is because he looks exactly like my uncle. Yeah. Like, I promise, goodness gracious, like so much where like I look at him and I'm just like, oh, that's my uncle. Like that's how I look at it. So, but I feel like he does look like quote unquote American. I get what you're saying when you say that. Like I get that. He does.
But then he has the nerve to be able to pull off the American accent.
Right, flawlessly, right? Like, who taught you how to act?
Nah, cool. Yeah. That's just like unfair. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I wouldn't delete Idris. He's a cool cat. He seems like a cool cat. What would my thing be? The one thing to get rid of. I think everybody would agree with this. Self-doubt. Like not like the irrational, like not being able, like doubting your capabilities after having thought through what you are capable of. Like that might be too big for me. That's fair. I'm talking about like stuff that you doubting yourself, that everybody else that is around you is like, you're the best at that. And then stuff that you doubt in yourself that inside of your mind, you're the best at that. Like that's, shoot, get rid of that. Oh my goodness. I don't know what the world would do at that point. The world might go crazy, but at the same time, like that would be a good feeling to have. Yeah,
it would be like good crazy because I feel like everyone could actually reach that potential. Like there's like, because you ever hear people have the conversation about potential and infinite potential?
No, what is that?
So potential is potential is just what a potential is. It's just like you could reach this, you could be here. But infinite potential, when people have infinite potential, there's nothing that will stand in their way until they reach that goal. They're going to get there. Like there is no limit, there's no cap to what they can do. There's no self-doubt. There's none of that. Everyone has their moments, of course, but there's no like there's no stopping you, there's no holding you back. You're gonna reach that goal. You have infinite potential to do infinity amount of things in whatever time.
What would the world look like if everyone had infinite confidence in their potential?
I think it would be a much better place. I think we would have everything would be so much more successful because So I think initially you might think like, oh, there would be like too many bosses and not enough, like employees or workers. But what I feel is that if everyone is confident in themselves, then everyone knows their position. So no one's feeling like, because a lot of times you have people who are meant to be a worker or like a follower, and not in a negative way, because not everyone's meant to be a boss and a leader. It's just what it is. Not everyone's called to do that. And so when you have people who aren't called to do that and they think they're called to do that and they're like kind of faking the funk, or, in a position that's not necessarily the position they should be in, it doesn't usually end up going well for them or for the people following them in some way or another. So I almost feel like if everyone was okay in their position, whether that be like someone, the first person or the last person or someone in the middle, they're going to feel comfortable. So everything kind of flows better because everyone is confident in their ability and what they're doing and not jealous of the next person and wanting something that doesn't necessarily belong to them.
All right, so my mind didn't go to boss. My mind went straight to the villain. I was like,
oh God, oh wow, the villains.
There's like a whole lot of people that are out there doing dirt already, and they're like, you know what? I have infinite potential in my ability to do this to its greatest extent.
But with the villain, there's always a villain backstory.
Exactly.
So the villain backstory would have to change because they wouldn't doubt themselves. So they wouldn't doubt themselves being the good that they initially are born with. I don't feel like people are born bad. I guess that's like debatable, but I don't feel like people are born evil or born bad. They're born into circumstances.
Doesn't necessarily mean that you're evil either.
Yeah, it means that I feel like it means that you're
guy,
you're the bad guy.
At the same time, in the narrative, the villain thinks that they're the hero.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
My family, I'm saving this, I'm saving that.
That's true.
Different ways that like. And that was the point of that question. I was like, the backstory is really where it comes in the full like picture. Like, maybe there's a point where that person decided to go left versus right in their history. But at the same time, would they have gone right or left if they thought they had infinite abilities and capabilities?
And the right thing, right?
Or they were like, you know what? This is the easiest way to make money. It might be illegal, but I'm going to be the best at it.
I feel like, that's crazy. But that's kind of a true thing. Like, but then because what if that's just their circumstance, that's just their predicament, so they have to kind of do what they have to do, and they're not thinking anyway.
Far enough in their story, like maybe there's more options, but then again, who knows? Maybe that option it looks different.
See, with what I was saying, I'm automatically assuming that there's more options, but what if there's not? Like sometimes I know that like in a perfect world, we would love to say everyone has all these choices. Everyone has all these opportunities afforded to them. But no, like as an adult, I've come to realize that no, not everyone has had like all these options and resources and opportunities. Not everyone has that. Like sometimes people are really just kind of like dealt a hand and they don't know if it's good or bad, but it's not looking good. And they just kind of have to deal with it and do the best they can to maneuver through life with that hand. So,
if you were the villain,
me the villain.
If you were the villain, you have infinite confidence in your potential at birth. What route do you go? What direction do you go?
But see, I don't believe people are born the villain. Or just
the villain is just the label that everybody else puts on you.
They're just going to put on you later.
They think that you're the villain. You're like, I'm trying to save the world. It just doesn't look the same as what you... I'm Thanos. I'm trying to save the universe.
Okay, so I don't really know about Thanos and stuff. Was he trying to destroy it or save it? Or did he have to destroy it to save it?
He said, I need to get rid of half of the universe in order for the universe to be better.
So he only wanted to really get rid of half of it.
Yeah. Snap of a finger.
Huh. Okay. Some of these memes make sense now because I wasn't kind of getting it at first. Okay, kind of coming together now. Kind of get it a little bit because I don't know about this stuff. Okay. That's interesting. I don't know. We're going to come back to this one because I'm at a loss right now. I'm kind of stuck. I don't know. that could be dangerous, I guess, in a way, because if it, I mean, it could be dangerous, but it could not. I guess it all depends on it depends on the quote unquote villain and their plans, right? Like if they like are kind of, if they're confident from birth, they have no self-doubt, they're ready to go, they're just, they know they're feeling themselves, they know what they're bringing to the table. It's kind of like, well, what are your plans? You know, what does your environment look like to even shape what your plans are?
It could be scary.
It could be scary.
All right, so I'll go and restate my my answer. Self-confidence for a brief period of time. Like, you know what? I'm gonna be the most confident person in myself. Guaranteed. As soon as I press this button, it's like an in case of emergency button, and I have a year that I am the most productive I'll ever be for the rest of my life. That I gift that to the world.
That could change that could change a lot of lives. That could change a lot of lives, because people don't understand the difference a year can make if you focus on what you're focusing on. Like 1 year can really change a lot, could change your whole life. So I feel like that would be a great gift to gift everyone. Yeah, that would be awesome. So we're gonna get into our next subject. I think it's on you to pick a card.
You know, Idris Elba played a genie, granting 3 wishes.
Wait, in Aladdin?
It was in a movie. I can't.
Oh, just like a different movie.
I just happened to see. I opened up my Amazon. It's on Amazon Prime, so I just saw it and I was like, I keep seeing this movie. Should I watch this? He's like the genie for this woman in like England or whatever, and I feel like they kind of end up dating or something at some point. Which I was like,
check that out. I never even heard of it, but I don't know. I'm out the loop sometimes, so it could be like the bestseller. And I'm like, what is that? I don't even know.
I don't think it was. I think it was more B movie.
I got Amazon Prime, so I'll check it out one day. He was
using his British accent, so it wasn't that big.
Oh, they like him using the American accent. Yeah. All right, it's on you to pick a card.
Oh, here we go.
Yep.
If injury / physical harm wasn't a concern, what activity would you like to try? So I grew up in the Midwest in an all-black neighborhood surrounded by cornfields, and I actually had horses in my backyard. And what we would do for fun is we'd go and get our BMX bikes, and we would just like roll like everywhere. But like, I see kids in Philly now, and I like it's funny because I see these kids, they're like riding up and down the street doing popping wheelies on their bikes, on their dirt bikes, on their 4-wheelers. And when I talk to like people, you know, they're like, oh, they're such a nuisance. And I'm looking at them, I'm like, wow, that's exactly what we used to do back in the day. Well, all of my friends, because my dad was like, you were not allowed to have anything with a motor in it. And so I was never able to do it. I would say, for me, I would either get like a BMX, like adult size kind of like bike, and learn how to do like tricking and all that stuff, or like, you know, like that crazy downhill mountain climbing or you know, mountain racing where they're going down, or even just like you see like people doing like obstacles. They're like hopping up on top of boulders and stuff with their bike. I would love to do some stuff like that. That would be dope.
Yeah, that always looks fun.
Now I could never imagine doing that. I would break my neck and be done for the rest of my life. That would not be cool.
No, yeah, that's why I thought that was like kind of like a fun question I heard. I'm just like, oh, that's fun, because I feel like the biggest thing that scares people away from stuff like stunts and tricks like that, it's literally only the fact that we know we're gonna probably break our neck because we're not trained properly. But if it wasn't for that, you know. Oh,
can you imagine going on like one of those half pipes? You know what I'm talking about? Like
yep, no.
That would be so dope.
Mentally, that's like completely mental for me. That scares me just watching people. Like, I get nervous for them.
Imagine if you were not nervous. Like, you see the X Games, you look at that stuff and you're like, oh, I can't wait to get on the slope myself. I don't know what they call it, the half pipe myself with my BMX.
I could be out there riding with my pink bike.
Imagine?
That would be crazy.
Talk about self-confidence. That would if you jump on one of those.
Yeah, you could do that. Anything. You can't tell nobody nothing. Like, you can't tell me nothing. I would say for me, it's skydiving.
Skydiving.
Yeah, like that's something that like I always think about. Like one, I don't really like roller coasters. I don't like that feeling of like that your stomach dropping. Like I hate that feeling. But skydiving, when people do it, they just look so free. Like they're just float. They just look like they just let go of all their inhibitions. They're just it looks like such a freeing experience. But my fear is in the way. I don't have like a fear of heights necessarily, but just like that fear of like the cable snapping midair. Like, so that's why I was like in a question like that where there's no worry about physical injury or physical harm or anything like that. It would have to be something that just really exhilarating and like just that I would play like free falling. Like I had that playing in my headphones while I just fall. Like I think that would be really dope. But yeah, I just have fears. And I know they have like indoor ones now. I know they have one in King of Prussia that's like an indoor one. I'm just still not into it. I don't know what it is about it. It just, yeah.
You ever see where they have those, it's a suit. They jump out of the plane, helicopter, mountain top, and then they open their arms and it has like wings.
Oh
like
yeah. Yeah, I forget what they, there's a name for it. I forget what it is, but yeah, I've seen that before too. That makes me even still nervous.
Now, when I think about like the BMX, I'm like, that would be dope to do like as a hobby. But for that would be like on some like one time in my life skydiving thing. I would never do that now, honestly. But
yeah. I feel that.
How dope would it be to feel like you can actually fly? That would be crazy.
That would be crazy. That would be crazy. Feel like you could see. I don't know. I might start feeling it too much and just start flapping my wings, not go anywhere, and then be stuck. Like, wait, help! Wait, no!
Start cracking.
I made a mistake. I need backup.
Quack.
And if there ain't no backup, I'm out. Like but I feel like it is a really Actually, I had a couple girlfriends I knew who did it, and they were like, "No, it's the most freeing experience. Like, I felt so free. I have to feel like I could do anything." And I'm just like, "Man, that's awesome. I love that for you. Like, I love that for you because I'm not doing it." But yeah, I always think of stuff like that. But I feel like anything when I saw the question, I feel like anything that's like skydiving or like stunts, like even like something as simple as skateboarding. Like I can't skate. Like my son be doing his little skateboard, he does his little thing, but I personally can't imagine getting on a skateboard. I've done it. I've fallen so many times. Even for me to be able to just like do a trick skateboard, that could even be one for me, because I'm telling you, I'm scared of the repercussions. Like I don't like falling that hard. I don't like scraping my knee. I don't like scraping my legs up. I don't like that stuff. Like I don't like it, and I've done it on a skateboard, and I feel like when I see people do the tricks, I'm in awe and amazement. Like
virtual reality. The world that we live in now. My bet is that there is going to be a time where you can literally take your. I'll start basic. You put on the AR glasses, and you will do exactly what you're probably going to have to pay some like X Games person to go and put on the helmet, and you get to feel what it feels like.
Yeah.
Going up the half.
They probably
pipe,
have it on the
airplane.
thing now. Do you know the new thing they have? It's I think it's by Apple.
Oh yeah.
Like that new.
Flop, though.
It flopped.
Well, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, I was gonna say you could probably do it on there.
It already.
Did they? I don't even know. I only saw one person online with it. It might have got recalled or something. It might have been like a recall.
But then the next step is one day they will be able to take your consciousness and put it in somebody else's brain for like
lobotomies.
It's like Get Out, except for a vacation. Like
yeah,
you get a chance to just like jump out the airplane. It's somebody else's body, but you'll be like in control.
And that is a scary thought. See, I don't like that. That's the kind of stuff I don't like. That's the kind of stuff that starts getting creepy, because
you could be on vacation in somebody else's body. They taking you.
Yeah, I don't like that. That's too. Nope. I don't know. There's too many reasons for me not to like it. I'm not feeling that.
ARBNB.
No. There's too many. This text is getting out of control.
ARBNB.
They're like, apparently there's a million.
You get to rent out your body to somebody else.
No, I'm not with it. I'm me.
It's gonna happen. Oh man.
I think it. You know, the crazy thing is, it's not even like we're sitting here having this conversation. It's not even far fetched to me. I'm just
No, it's not.
it's like I'm only saying I'm so scared of it because it's like, oh, it's going to happen in like 3 years. So
AI is crazy. They said that what we've seen with AI is not even scratching what we're gonna see in the next like couple of years.
Yeah, and I definitely believe it because look how it's affecting us now. People, even when you get on, go onto your Facebook account. You can't even write a status without it saying, would you like AI to fix this up for you? Would you like really? AI? You can go on Facebook. As soon as you go on there, it'll like basically, you could write, you could have say the sky is blue and the grass is green, and it'll type it up to where, yeah, the sky is actually giving a color of, I don't know, like yellow and green, which equals blue. I don't know, like whatever. Like it'll tell you a different way to say it. Like you can have it do. You can't even type a Facebook status. Even my text messages. When I go on my text message now, it'll offer me a situation where AI can write out the text for me, so I don't even have to write it, or it will create an image for me, so I don't have to find it.
Owner, AI, social media marketer, they just do everything for you.
They do, but see, the thing about AI is that people have to remember is that it's not perfect and it's not human. So as much as AI can help you, for me, I can't depend on it. Like there's some things that I have to write because I need from like one, I know what a human wants to, what's going to make a human feel invited and warm and feel like I'm personally talking to them. Whereas AI is going to give like a general, like it might be a very detailed, it might be well written, but it's going to be very general. It's not coming from a human.
I feel like you're assuming that humans are paying that much attention.
Yeah, like
everybody's scrolling, everybody's just swiping through.
Yeah.
Half the time people are not even really paying attention to what they're like.
That's true. They're not, but I feel like that I have to do the things that I feel like can set me apart when it all comes down to it. Like I have to do the things that I feel like are best from what I would want to receive.
But that's for you.
Yeah, because I pay attention to that kind of stuff though. Like as I'm scrolling, I might be like, let's say I'm like looking for events. Like, hey, we're going to go to someone else's event. We're going to go support someone else's event. Let's look for events. And this was like a month, like not even a full month ago, I was doing this. I had like a free day, a day that I didn't have that much planned. And I was like, yeah, let's go support someone's event. We were looking through events and I'm like, oh, this promo's terrible. This is terrible. I'm like, they clearly had AI doing this. And it's just like,
oh, you felt like that was the AI.
Yeah, that they had either had AI or it was just like they didn't care. They didn't have AI and they didn't care enough to put any personality into the caption. So it wasn't an inviting thing. And I mean, this wasn't just one or two. This was like 3 or 4. Or the flyer looked crazy, and I'm just like, oh, I can't even. There's no date, there's no time, there's no location. Like, what's going on here?
Have you heard like the AI Motown BBL Drizzy like remakes?
What the beat or like the songs?
They're gonna take like a song that's popular now. I heard one that was dope. It was Sexy Red as Motown. And I was like, yo, this is actually a dope bop.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a bop. It was like, yeah. I was like, this actually goes hard. I was like, I'm waiting for Kanye to start sampling it.
Yeah.
So my point is like, the AI is getting good.
The AI is getting good in terms of that. Yeah, that's a good one because one, it's good because it's just like something to draw people in on social media. So for forms of content, and people could put it behind content, but it also kind of sucks in a way, and I'm gonna tell you why. So I put it like this. Drake put out a song and it's no longer available. When he was beefing with Kendrick, he put out one of the songs he had Snoop Dogg and Tupac on the song, right? But it wasn't them. It was AI then. Yeah, and I feel like that's the problem where AI is too good that it becomes an issue because you got Snoop Dogg. People really think Snoop Dogg is like on the song. And you think, and he's from the West Coast, so he's dissing another West Coast person. So that was kind of crazy. And then you had a dead person on there. Tupac is no longer alive. His estate sued. So
that fool told on himself with that. That was when I was like, oh no, why would you do that?
Well, he wasn't ever trying to hide it. That's the thing. Like you can't like use AI dead person.
Yeah, I mean, like who,
and then be trying to hide it.
One person that I would not want to resurrect for AI. the top of that list would be Tupac.
right?
I'm like, because that lines are drawn. Like,
Yeah.
oh no, don't do that. I was like, didn't no one tell him that was not a good idea?
Nope. They said, go ahead, Drizzy.
And then on top of it, it was
Drizzy.
like a throwaway. It was like a throwaway song. Like it was
and now
pointless.
it's not even available.
Yeah.
Just like that. So I feel like AI, as good as it's getting too good. And there's so many.
My whole point is just like, it's getting to the point where, yeah, it could take over your social media account and be you at some point, and no one really know the difference.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's
because people aren't really paying attention.
That's my thing, though. I try to be a little bit more personable, so that way people can always know the difference. So that if something AI ever did take over, they would know and be like, no, that's not how Pink would say that.
I don't
that's
know.
Not how
that's
she
what
would
I'm
talk.
saying. Like that, we all know Motown. So when we hear a sexy red song turned into Motown, and they're like doing runs, and the song sounds like your grandfather would have been singing to it, and you hear it, you know, like everybody knows Motown. But it's AI. It has never listened to Motown. It has just got an algorithm that has been trained on, and it sounds like a 50-year-old black woman that weighs about 300 pounds and like has been singing in the church all of her life. How
did it do that, right?
But how, if it can do that, would it not be able to go and duplicate? You know, it looks at your post and it says, "Oh, I got you."
Yeah, I guess like maybe over time, but it's funny because a couple episodes ago there was a question, right? And the question was, if you had 5 minutes to prove that you were yourself and not AI, but only over text message, how would you do it? That was actually a question. So it's like,
that's a good question.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
It was a super good. It was like an interesting question, but it's like it kind of goes back to that. I think I said I forget what I said. I know emojis was a part of it. I said emojis, but
emojis will be your distinguishing.
There was like emojis and something else. I said two things. I can't remember the other one, but emojis was definitely one. And I forget why I forget, but it was. I forgot because sometimes we forget. But
I just be like, who does Nate hate the most? The actor.
You never told us, so we won't even know. You got to tell us about that.
The people who know me, they know.
They know. All right, we're gonna figure this out. So we're about to take a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna find out what actor Nate hates the most because we need to know this, y'all. And we're gonna get into a couple more juicy topics.
You guys have to stick around to the end of the show.
Listen, you gotta stick around to the end to find out. But make sure you guys stay locked in because once you're locked in, ain't no switching up. We'll be right back. All right. So before we end the show, we got to get to a couple more juicy subjects. So it's on me to draw the card. So I'm going to pick a card and I'm not going to pick the one on top. I'm going to pick the one in the middle because got to be like that. Oh, man. All right. If you could go back in time and learn one thing sooner, what would it be and how would it change your life? That's deep. That's a deep question.
It's funny. I had this video I made. It was a question similar. It was, if you could go back in time and talk to yourself in high school, and you can give yourself $1 million. Let's say $5 million, because that million doesn't even mean anything anymore. You give yourself $5 million in high school, or wait till you were 55, like right before retirement, and give yourself $5 million. Which one would you choose? That's my question, but I'll go and answer your question first. Let me see.
We can get into that one next, because that's a good one. We can get into that one next. That's definitely a good one. I don't know. It's a toughie. It's a toughie.
Why also?
And why? Yeah, I don't know. We're going to focus on one question at a time. Because I'm thinking all these, I got both going through my mind. I would say for me, if I had to go back in time and learn one thing earlier, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about both, even because you brought back high school, I would probably, I don't even know how to really word this, but I would probably, Probably something along the lines of, I don't even want to say it like be more grateful, but to be more aware of different walks of life. Right? Because I feel like I just grew up pretty privileged. Just didn't really want for anything or ever need for anything. Went to the best schools, lived in great neighborhoods and things of that nature. But I grew up moving from state to state also, and just always was consistent with that. But I feel like at a certain point where I kind of felt like I was like sheltered and maybe like missing something, and kind of ventured off into different areas that I probably had no business in, like being raised in like the suburbs and then like venturing out to Philadelphia. And which is like in some areas like that just aren't that aren't, like how I grew up, and just not really realizing certain things about like other walks of life. So there's been like times where I was taken advantage of or duped, or however you want to say it, because I wasn't aware. I wasn't aware of how people are, or like the reverse psychology that people can put on you and make you think that like because you grew up having that you're less than somehow. You know what I mean?
Rewind the last part.
So I'll give it. So there's like a reverse psychology thing sometimes where you could be in an environment that maybe is just like a poor environment, right? But maybe you're not acclimating. You've never been in a poor environment. You don't even know what it's like to perhaps struggle at that point in your life. Not for real, right? And so I'll give you an example. So I used to wear like Ugg boots all the time, like before they were super popular. I just used to wear them all the time, and they were even more expensive back then than they are now. They were like really expensive. So I like prided myself on the fact that like I had a little job, and my parents weren't buying my Uggs when I was buying my own Uggs, and I had a million different pair, all different types of colors, like whatever. And so going to hang out in Philly, it was like, oh, you think you cute with them Uggs on? They ugly. Like it was just like all this like, all this backlash. Oh, you wear this brand? Oh, and all these were like kind of like brands that cost a couple dollars. But the reverse psychology thing is like they'll make you feel like you're less than, or you're a cornball, or like not cool or whatever, because you have on something that they want but can't afford, or they're interested in, or don't even know about, but they may have like reminiscently heard, and they're just like so into it. And so they'll make you feel like kind of like stupid. So
wait, are you saying that you would go back in time to humble yourself? And
I would go back in time to make myself more aware, to be aware of like all walks of life. Because if I would have been aware of like the different walks of life and classes and different things like that, I probably wouldn't have been venturing out into areas that I had no business in the first place. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if I was more aware of like all the things that I had been growing up in a 2-parent home was such a normal thing to me, not even like acknowledging that there was like a million people who don't have that privilege, or like, always having my own room always. And there's so many people who don't, but I feel like it's affected my life in ways because I've just been like culture shocked so many times. Mm-hmm. And it didn't have to be that way. And sometimes it kind of landed me in maybe like a sticky situation where I'm like, why am I here? Why am I in this environment? Like going to a party in North Philly and then a shooting breaks out. And you start freaking out because you're like, where's my pump? Like, where's my asthma pump? Like, I'm freaking out. But everybody around you is like, chill. Like, just run this way. You good. Uh-huh. It's just like, what? Why are y'all so calm?
You have stories to tell because of that culture shock, right?
I do, but yeah, I do. And it has formed me into the person I am. But just being more aware earlier in life, I feel like it would have changed maybe my trajectory just a little bit. Yeah, just being more aware earlier in life.
I feel you. I mean, part of me is I'm like, yo, I got these Uggs. Get like me, that's kind of how I feel about it.
That's how I was at first, until you have so many people like in this new era. You're the new person. You're new hanging out here, and it's just like so many people, and it's just also like I guess a little weak-minded. Also, like I just was feeling a little insecure at that time. Mm-hmm. Like you got so many people saying this to you, and you start feeling insecure.
The
like,
haters are gonna
wait,
hate.
Yeah, the haters gonna hate, but they're gonna find new ways to like disguise the hate. Right? It's always gonna be a way that you didn't know. Like, dang, they was hating too. Wow. Like, it's just always, it was just really a weird thing.
I feel like I have always been blessed and just had just like a innate ability to like really filter out people who like had negative energy, and that I feel like I've had since I was a kid, and I've always been able to just like stay confident in knowing that I'm different. I'm different. I feel like there was a point in time where I did try to go and fit in, but at the same time, the whole time I was doing it, I was like, you don't need to do this. You're much better than this. And to go back to the question, like, what would I tell myself if I went back in time? Honestly, I would be like, Nate, you are him. You know, don't need to go and like dim your light for nobody. You know, especially I'm like 6'4", 275 pounds, and you know, I'm not going to be seen. But my whole life, you know, growing up, you know, I would try to make myself not stand out, not be a presence. Yeah, that's what I would tell myself. Is just like, yeah, you are that guy. You are him. Like, you do you the way you do it, and people appreciate you for that. Just lean into it sooner. Just continue to like be big, be bold, be, you know, bright. Cause you got it. Like that would be the thing I would say to myself.
I love that. I feel like that's, now that you say it now, I'm like, I should have told I don't know. My parents used to tell me that a lot, but yeah, I love that. I think that's a beautiful thing for you to even say that now, to be able to look back in retrospect and say, hey, like, I should have always had this confidence, because I know I'm him. I'm
still working on my confidence, but at the same time, if I look back at me now, I actually would be more impressed with me back when I was a kid. Just because of the fact that there was like certain parts of my personality that I just knew I couldn't change. And, you know, I was me, but I didn't have the confidence that I probably should have had at that point in my life. And if I could have just been like, you're that guy.
Were you like more introverted growing up, you think?
I mean, I'm still introverted. I'm like, I go half and half. I say, you know, half the time I'm like trying to avoid the spotlight, and then the other half I'm like searching it out. So, you know, I got a mix of the two.
That's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all. I feel like that's balance. I feel like, because sometimes people who are like extroverted and super outgoing, sometimes they're too much. Sometimes they're too much. And sometimes they're too much for certain people. Like, certain people can't handle all that. Like, you are way too loud. You are way too cheery. You are way too happy. Like, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be happy, but tone it down. Like, you know, some people, it's too much for them to handle.
Some people love those people, though.
Some people love those people, too. Some people love those people, too. But, yeah, it's like, I think it's good to have balance. And maybe knowing when to turn it on and turn it off. Like, if you feel like you're too much for someone, maybe you should automatically just kind of like read the room and say and be more aware.
Find your people, then you don't have to read the room.
Yeah, I mean, find your people, but also be aware of like of how they may be feeling. Because I know sometimes I go in. Let's just say I go into I don't know. I go to a family member's house, right? And I may see a cousin who's just kind of like, kind of sitting there, and I'm just like, hey, life is great. I love life. You love life? Because I love life. Like, what's up with you? Why you sitting there all sad? Like, come on, get up and dance. And they're just like, their dog just died, or like they just like had a crazy death on a different part of their family. I'm just like, get up, let's party. And they're just like, you're too much. Like, even though that may be your person, they may not be in the mood for your mess at that time. So I feel like those are times, because I'm that person. I'm extroverted. I'm outgoing. I'm that, like, I talk a lot. I'm just like, whoop, 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 whoop. And I'm learning to just find that balance. That's why I brought it up, because sometimes I feel like I am too much for people, and I've been learning to try to be like, kick back a little bit and just say, okay, just calm down.
What they call it, Joe?
Yeah, Joe. Oh my God, they call it Joe. I hate that word. I hate it.
That could be the name of your next album.
Joe? They call me Joe.
They call it Joe. They call me Joe.
They call me Joe.
Wait, I have a question.
Judge Joe Brown.
Going back to the whole masculine versus feminine energy. Mm-hmm. You're a rapper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, when you rap, are you masculine? Are you feminine? Is there a mix? You like one more frequently than the other, or 80% of the time, 20% of the time? What does that look like?
That's an interesting question. In my perspective, I would probably say I'm more feminine.
But isn't rap just like a masculine kind of sport?
I feel like it used to be, but I feel like now we have so many, like, before you used to always have like a bunch of male rappers and you'd have like the token female rapper, like in different genres. It could be, it was like at one point it was like Queen Latifah and MC Light. They were like the token two like female spitters, and then or like a Bahama D or something.
One of my favorite MCs of all time, MC Light.
MC Light, yeah, she's fire. Like she's fire.
She was Nas before Nas,
right? But then you could go down later down the line. Then you had like Lil' Kim and Foxy Brown. They were the tokens. And then you come a little bit later down the line, then you've got like Lauryn Hill, and then you come a little bit later, then you've got like Nicki Minaj. But now you've got Sexy Red, still got Nicki Minaj, you got Cardi B, you got Meg Thee Stallion, you got Asian the Brat, you got Cash Doll, you got and a million other females that I can't even think of, right? So now within the female rappers, we now have different genres of female rapper. So now you got the stripper rappers, and you got the
that would be
the hypersexual rappers and stuff like that.
Masculine.
Yeah, I guess it would be masculine in a way. Yeah. Then you've got, I don't know. I feel like and then you have like the conscious rappers. You always have conscious rappers, and you've got like there's so many subgenres.
That would probably be more feminine.
More feminine, maybe. Yeah, it could be considered because you're like more, I guess, emotion wise. So maybe feminine. Is that why you're leaning towards feminine for conscious?
I'm just like
what you first think
in the two
categories, right? Yeah, I kind of agree with you there. But I feel like there's so many ways. I would probably say feminine. What my music now is definitely more just true to real life, like to my life and where I'm at with things and what I think and what I want to do and how I want to be and what I'm like turning my life into. Like I think like my single off Sunflower and Gunpowder, Level Up is literally about that. It's about leveling up. It's about trying to be the best you can be. Like the hook goes, I know I got to be the change that I want to see. I know it starts with me. Take accountability, take responsibility. So those are all things like telling yourself like, hey, like I have to hold myself more accountable. I have to be more responsible. Like I have to be this change that I want to see in order to like reach my goals. So like, let me level up. And
now, is that masculine or is that feminine?
I would say, I don't know. I would say feminine because it's real to me. So that's why I'm saying feminine, like because it's about my life.
You can say that about any rapper.
Anyone.
Like rapping about whatever
their goal is, right? To anybody. Yeah. And that's kind of what it's about. Like the whole album is really about saying, hey, like, I know you want to be better, so like get up and do something about it. And this is kind of, here's some tools on how. And there's like an actual, I did like on Stereotype Radio, I actually did like an album breakdown where I went through a couple of the songs and broke them down. I actually want to do more of that, so I'll probably have something like that coming soon where I'm kind of like sitting down and explaining each song and why I ordered them the way because there was a reason why they were ordered that way, and even down to the titles and different lines that I said, hey, no, we gotta leave that in here. I gotta leave that in there because this is the point of the song. This one is like what made the song. Like on Level Up, different conversations, I'm in different rooms praying I'm the dumbest, the knowledge trying to consume. Like I want to be the dumbest person in the room because I'm trying to soak up all the knowledge. I want to be learning. I want to be around people I can learn from and take from, and I can give and teach them as well. But I don't want to be around people who don't want to learn or teach. Like I don't want to do that. Like it's pointless to me. Like I'm really trying to be the best woman I can be overall in general. Like that's the biggest goal of all. So if that's the biggest goal, then and this is what I'm rapping about, then maybe I would say feminine because it's for me. But there's probably masculine tone. There's probably definitely masculine tone, especially when I talk about like maybe like working super hard because that's like something I'm huge on. And I feel like most people think masculine when they think of hard work. Yeah, they think masculine, but I don't know another female that works harder than I do. I mean, I just don't.
You can just look at your mom or your auntie or whatever. Like you can see that women put in work even if they're just in the house. That's you can't really like.
It's true, but I think that most people when it comes to their mind,
if you think about like
you think of men,
quote unquote masculine or feminine, you think of like that type of energy is like goal setting and all that stuff would be more masculine. And then you have females, right, who like I think we think of hardworking as masculine too because I think a lot of females, especially nowadays, this like soft girl era. Have you heard of that? I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
So we talked about it the other day. I'm really not 100% sure, but I'm thinking is like from what I can perceive from like most people when they post about it, they just want to be like kind of taken care of and loved on and just like, I don't know. It doesn't sit right with me because it feels like you just kind of like want someone to like get your nails done and like get your hair done for you and like pay your bills and take you out to eat. It sounds like begging, right? Which is why I don't necessarily like it or subscribe. I'm going to pose a question to you guys. Can you guys please let us know in the comments, what is the soft girl era exactly? Because I am not sure. And if it's not begging, please let me know because that's all I see. And that's all I can like, you know, all I can like attach it to is begging. And then it makes me want to stay away from it because that's nasty work to me.
You know what they say? Beggars can't be choosers.
Ooh. So if y'all begging, y'all already know y'all ain't got no picks, y'all ain't got no choice, y'all ain't got no type.
You got multiple choice, and you can't pick nothing.
That is crazy.
You just getting picked. But I like the word pick me. That's
the pick me. Oh my god!
When I finally figured out what that meant, I was like, oh, that's a gut punch.
Yeah, but you know what the crazy thing about a pick me has been used in so many like nasty ways. Like sometimes, so right now, from what I just said, soft girl era equaling begging to me.
It's similar, it's the same thing,
right? But there's gonna be a girl who's gonna say, "Oh, she's a pick me." To me, right?
To you?
Because I'm saying something that a man would normally say. So that's when girls start using the pick me as like, oh, you're just saying that because you want to be chosen. It's like, I'm taking. This is what I believe. Like, this is just literally what I think. But yeah, I don't Facebook argue, but I have stopped arguing on Facebook or even, I don't even engage in conversation too much on Facebook. But I'll say about 4 or 5 years ago, I got called to pick me a couple times for my stances on things.
Stance on what?
It was pretty much the whole like the 50-50 thing. Like should a woman hold her own weight? Pretty much. Uh-huh. And I agree that she should. Like I don't think that like if you're in a position where you don't like necessarily have to or want to, and that's your dynamic, that's fine. But I feel like you should be able to. You know, like you don't have to, but if that's your dynamic, but I feel like you should be able to. There's no way that like you can't like equally contribute in whatever form that is, whatever that looks like for your relationship. You should be able to contribute equally as much as the man is contributing.
Or find someone who is looking for you.
Or find someone who's looking, yeah.
If you are looking for someone who, you know, if you... I want to say beggar because now it sounds toxic, but
like beggars is a thing. Like we have to be real.
I wouldn't classify everyone. Like some people, they just have been raised with a traditional understanding of the world. It's a lot more simplified. You know, I used to say this myself. Like I was like, we got the choice between a broom or some fancy like vacuum cleaner. What's the one? Dyson or whatever. Yes, the Dyson's awesome and it's gonna do a good job, but the broom ain't gonna break. Like there's not a whole bunch of multiple pieces that you have to put together. You know, if one piece breaks on the broom, you can break a broom all the way down to the point where it's just like in your hand and it still works. So some people they've been raised with just like a really simplified understanding of the world, and it's not complex, and they understand it, and they need to find a person who looks at the world the same way
as them. Yeah, I agree. And also they need to also, because I feel like, so in situations I've been in, that's been like a thing where that's been brought up, like, well, I was just raised differently. I was raised to believe this, but it's like also hold up your end of the bargain, because there's also people who may kind of put themselves in a position where like the husband goes to work and they stay home, take care of the kids and clean, right?
We just talked about it. We were talking about work.
Yeah, we were talking about work, like, right?
Shoot,
but then sometimes
your mom, your auntie, they were putting in work,
even if
they weren't going to jobs. And some of them, I say the majority of them, especially in the black community, is like they was going to work, it was coming home and doing more work.
Yeah, and doing more work. But the thing about it is that me and a couple of the girls were arguing, because this was like the 50-50 thing. The girls who were saying that, it was kind of like, they were like, well, what about the girls who like their man goes to work all day and then their man comes home and then there's no food cooked for him, and then the house isn't clean, and the kids are still up. They're not bathed and laying in their beds. And you know what I mean? So I feel like it has to be, when it comes down to partnership, it has to be just really that. It has to be a partnership. Like, you can't expect all the bills to be paid, but he don't have clean clothes to wear to work. Because that's the thing that men complain about sometimes too. Like, it's been this conversation where like women aren't feminine enough to be able to live those sorts of lifestyles. Like, they're not, and I don't necessarily think it's feminine. I think it's just like the deal that you kind of like created within the relationship. It's the dynamic of the relationship. Like,
I feel like the woman that I need in my life cannot be no slouch. Like, you need to be able to fend for yourself, as well as, you know, I don't have any kids, but if I had kids, like, if something happens to me and you don't know how to take care of business,
yeah,
shoot, that's the whole lineage down the
drain. Like, everything you work for.
I learned how to throw a baseball from my little sister. I mean, not my little sister, from my older sister. I learned how to fight from my older sister. If you can't go and, you know, handle business, from my perspective, the type of woman that I need in my life is, you know, she's got to be able, like, if anything happens to me, you got to be able to, you know, take care of business,
hold it down. Exactly. And
you can't just be like, you know, looking for some other man to go and, you know, take care of business.
That's so true. That's very true. It's like you got to
goes back to the word pick me.
Yeah.
Like, oh, your husband died? Well,
pick me.
Pick me.
That's how some of these women are. But Nate, we thank you so much for coming on to the podcast today. Is there anything you want to leave our listeners with?
Killer whale. I've been sent to save the world, save the galaxy through ghetto electro funk.
Woo!
It's a mission that I've been sent on to spread funk, soul, hip hop throughout the galaxy, and I'm here on this earth, on this planet right now. Come see me.
And let them know where they...
Well, on Instagram at what's up WASSUP, and then also I'm here to save the world with fitness. The name of my gym is called Bodyrock Bootcamp. We believe in the fact that you have a full gym inside of your body, that you have access to 24 hours a day. DIY, do it yourself. Don't ignore yourself. You have everything that you need to take control of your life, take control of your destiny, can take control of your body and live the type of life that you want to live. So check me out, Bodyrock Bootcamp, at Bodyrock Bootcamp on Instagram, bodyrockbootcamp.net. So,
yeah, sign up for one of those classes because they get intense. Yeah. They get intense. They got the sandbags and the trust. I'm not even gonna get into too much because y'all just gotta check it out yourself. But make sure you guys follow on Instagram, tap in, schedule a class, come and just work yourself out. Do something for you. Self-care day. You already know what it is. But we thank you so much for tapping in with us, staying locked in with us. We do appreciate it. Shout out to Pink Drink. Shout out to Cheap Air. Shout out to Stereotype Radio. Make sure you guys are following and subscribed.
Shout out to Forrest Whitaker.
Oh yeah, Forrest Whitaker was the actor he hated. But you have to stay till the end. Forrest Whitaker, he really doesn't like the eye. The eye really throws him off. It's the name. It's the back of the neck.
Meat on the back of his neck.
It's the pack of hot dogs in back there. Not feeling it.
It looks more like moon. It's like
craters. But thank you guys so much.
I'm sorry. Please don't judge me by that.
It's okay.
It's not
Forrest
rational.
Whitaker, he knows.
I'm sure he's the nicest guy and he's probably a great person.
I hope so. But if he's not, then you deserve all of this. Thank you guys so much.
He's the only person in my life that I hate, though. That's.
Thank you guys so much. Stay tuned.
I need to go pray on this.
And make sure you guys check us out next week. We'll be back. And make sure you guys stay locked in because you know once you locked in, ain't no switching up. We'll see y'all next week.
Peace. Killer whale, playful yet deadly.